on? How y'all feeling? How you doing? Good. I'm glad. I really, really am. I'm coming to you with the number one rule on how to keep a man happy. The number one rule is learn how to be quiet. By that, I mean, women were very, very verbal. You typically can't, jack a man up physically. But if your man get out of line, the first thing you're going to do is start using this to get your point across, right? That's where the problem lies. Sometimes we as women, we're too verbal. Sometimes we say the wrong thing at the wrong time. I'm guilty. I'm not perfect. I think every woman is guilty of this. It is an art to learn how to curb your tongue, how to refrain from speaking when it's best to be quiet. This comes with age and this comes with wisdom. Now, I'm 36. Now, the things that I would say at 26 to my man are totally different than what I'll say now at 36 to my man. Totally different. So some of the things that we do as ladies, number one, we nag. We say, can you do X, Y, and Z? Please do X, Y, and Z. Okay, he doesn't do it. So we keep asking. We keep wondering. We keep just saying. And in all honesty, think about it. You probably don't want somebody saying the same thing to you over and over again. I'm just saying. You probably don't want that. So why do we as ladies continue to nag our man? Ladies, stop it. If you've asked him once, I say maybe remind him again. If it's something super, super duper important, then maybe a third time. But don't keep nagging like, well, why you ain't did this? Why you ain't did that? Well, when you gonna do this? When you gonna do that? That's nagging. Learn how to ask in a tactful, respectful way. Well, babe, were you going to be able to X, Y, and Z? See how my tone and my demeanor, it wasn't,
well, when you gonna learn how to do this? When you gonna do that?
It was totally different. So another thing that we do as women is, with our mouth, is we cut our men down. We've all done this. We've all called our men names. We've all insulted them. We've all said something to them that, wasn't the best thing to say. For example, when we get into arguments, ladies, you know that you typically may say something off the wall,
Well, God, you're so stupid.
That's just what I could come up with right now at this point in time. But you probably say something totally more aggressive than that. You might even cuss him out. You might even talk about his mama, his baby mama, his sisters, his nieces, his nephew. You may talk about his whole family, his job, his dog. No. Because one thing about it is after you say all of those things during this argument, he's not going to forget. He may forgive you, but he's not going to forget that you said those things. I mean, you can come back and be like, I'm sorry. And I'm all for apologizing. But the thing about it is, even when you apologize sometimes, it's sometimes hard to forgive a person for the things that they said. One, because you feel like they really feel that way. Like, that's really how you feel. Like, that's really what's going on in your mind. So, and that hurts and that stings. So, ladies, no more insults to our men. No more calling them out of their name. No more talking bad about their family. Now, if y'all are having a discussion or an argument, the best thing to do is to lead by example. If you don't want him calling you out your name, don't call him out of his name. If you don't want him calling you something that you're not, then don't call him something that he's not. Point blank, period. You can't give an account for what somebody else does, but you can account for what you do as an individual. Now, another way in which we use our mouths in the most inappropriate way is sometimes we lie. Let's be honest. We lie. Case in point, our boyfriend, husband will come and say,
Babe, what's wrong?
What's the first thing we say?
Nothing. I'm okay.
Knowing good and upset knowing good and darn well that you are not happy with what's going on, knowing good and darn well that you have a lot on your mind that you want to get off. Now, I'm not saying just blurt it all out in whichever way it comes, because it might come inappropriately. But you can at least say something to the effect of,
Man, right now I'm upset and I need some time to cool down in order to be able to say this to you the right way.
one thing about words is, I'm a firm believer in what the scripture says, which is life and death is in the power of the tongue, good and bad. So what you say to a person, that is forever going to be ingrained in that person's mind. Like, of course they may forgive you. Of course y'all may go on to, continue your relationship. Of course y'all may just, continue where you left off. No problem. But that's always in their mind. So I strongly suggest that if that's you, just become more honest with your mate. Become more honest with your guy friend, your husband. Because truth be told, you want him to be honest with you. Am I right? I'm right. So let's see. What's another way in which we as women tend to use our mouths in the wrong way? Well, okay, here we go. Another one. We don't encourage our men enough. Now, me personally, I'm an only child. So I got a lot of encouragement growing up, and I always did well. So you don't really have to encourage me, because I'm going to encourage myself, and I grew into that. I'm going to encourage myself, and my accolades speak for themselves. Not being, arrogant or conceited, but I know that I've done well, I'm doing well, and I'm going to do well. So whether you encourage me or not, I don't have whatever. But some people, especially men, need for their women to encourage them. Need for their women to say,
you know what, babe, good job. You know what, I'm proud of you. You know what, I'm glad you're my man. You know what, I'm glad God blessed me with you.
Or however you want to say it.
I'm glad that you're my boyfriend. I'm glad that, you chose to be with me.
Any way you want to just kind of butter your bread. It doesn't matter which side you butter it on. But I'm just saying, I know that was real country. But anyway, and I'm not even really from the country, but I've been living in Georgia for 20 years. Anyway, I digress. So my point being this, begin to encourage your man more. Begin to say nicer things to him. One thing about it is, once you've been in a relationship for a long period of time, you get familiar with that person. You get more just relaxed and whatever's whatever, and you don't really care as much as you did in the beginning. But you should never get to the point to where you don't care as much as you did in the beginning, because, that's why I think relationships kind of just fizzle. Is because the amount in which you cared in the beginning is not how much you care now. If anything, the amount you cared in the beginning should be less than what you care now. You should grow in how much you care about that person. You should grow in how much y'all are together, how your bond together, things of that nature. So that's another way in which women can use their mouths a little bit better than what we have before. So let's see, what's another way? I think that's pretty much it. That's all I really have. I mean, if you're in a relationship or you're trying to get into a relationship, just take these things into consideration. See how they work for you. Maybe implement one or two. And again, as always, this has been your girl Tanisha, giving you hugs from afar. And until later.